Hi, Moon Children. Welcome to another episode of the Moonchild podcast. My name's Kira, and I am joined by your favorite host, Vero, today again. Hi, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing okay. It's actually really weird to say that I'm doing okay because like a week ago I wasn't doing okay, but now I'm fine, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, definitely. I mean, a lot of stuff has been going on because, once again, we promised to record more frequently, and we didn't. And I feel like I'm saying this in every episode. But yeah, it's been a while, once again, so a few changes have been made in the meantime. Is there anything you'd like to let us know?
I mean, I think you want to share some news, right? Where are you? You're not at your home.
I am kind of not at home at all, and at the same time I am finally for the first time at home, really. So yeah, what happened is I think the last episode we also talked about that a little bit, like that I was like planning to move out, and it's finally happened. So yeah, I am now officially moved out from my parents' home and living on my own in a new city, going to university. So yeah, that's been a huge change.
How are you
I'm
enjoying it so far?
I guess it has its ups and downs, and even though overall I feel like this is really good step for me and this has been a great journey, sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm just this little child, and how could I ever have thought that going to a strange place, not knowing anybody, having to take care of everything on my own would be a good idea. But then on other days, I'm like, this is great. I have like all the freedom in the world. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want to. And I don't feel that closed in anymore. And it's like, since I'm in this new place, I have the opportunity to kind of define myself as a new person. And yeah, that's been really great. And I'm really, really happy that I took this step.
I'm glad you took that step too. I mean, looking back, it was also a huge step for me, but I thought about, just taking it a step further and going to China for a half a year.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, but at the same time, I wasn't that independent because I lived with a host family. That means that I just had freedom, but not as much as I expected. And after that, when I went to university, I had more freedom. But yeah, it was difficult as well because you had to kind of like decide what you want to eat, how much you need to, um, how much food you actually need to buy for a week, and what you actually want to buy. I mean, clothing and stuff, it's expensive. And I mean, of course, I could have asked my parents, but sometimes you just want to buy something from your like own money you get from your parents anyway, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
I definitely get your point. I think the financial part is like the biggest difference to before, because I don't know how you handle it with your parents, but for me it's like everything goes through my account now, so I have to pay the rent, not my parents, even though they like give me the money for it. But technically I have to be the one like sort of managing everything, and that's really strange because I feel like on one day there's like so much money on my account and I'm like, what the hell? And then on the next day my rent is due and I'm like, okay, and there it goes. So yeah, I definitely understand, and it's an entirely different experience to go grocery shopping now, because back at home, like when I used to go shopping for my family, I would like buy so much stuff because we're like 5 people in the household, and so we eat a lot, and now I'm alone and everything I buy is like I have to be the one to eat it, so I really have to think, do I want this? Do I not want it? And also like, when am I going to make this? Because things are going to like, turn
Get
bad and
bad.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I buy a lot of fruit and then I just don't get around to eat it, it's just going to be wasted. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I've kind of started like, picking out my recipes before I go grocery shopping so that I really like get everything I need, but also like only the things I need and not like buy whatever, because then it's just gonna sit around. And actually that's kind of enjoyable experience for me. I sort of like the meal prepping process, and I'm also like, I've always liked to cook and try new stuff, but now I have to like see if I can afford the food, and
Yeah.
when I want to go treat myself a little, I can buy something special, and then on other days I may have to save a little bit. That's kind of part of the, I don't know, growing up, I guess.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm a step back from you because I actually just always buy the same groceries. My friends actually are laughing at me because I'm literally always buying the same stuff. But I mean, now because they said something, I like added potatoes into my list.
Potatoes. Why potatoes?
Yeah.
That's so German.
And I mean, to be fair, the thing is, my friend and I always end up in a restaurant. We like meet up randomly somewhere, and in the end, we're in a restaurant eating. And honestly, we just never meet without going to a restaurant, so it's getting expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, it's fate. So what should I actually do, That just happens when we're together. We like end up in a restaurant.
Yeah, by now it's like calculable. You already know beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it's nice to kind of, treat yourself and have that experience. I guess going to a restaurant with a friend is a very nice way to spend some time. But you also really need to like calculate if you're more on the saving side, because, I don't know, in Germany, going out is so expensive. My first week of university, we had like an event every night, and we'd go to like a bar or a club, and I don't know, like you have to pay like, I don't know, ticket for the entry, and then you buy something to drink, and it's just so expensive. It's really insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm in Austria, so it's a little bit more expensive because even groceries are at least, I don't know, 20% more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of like see a difference. When I was back in Germany last week, you basically see a huge difference between those two. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. You can go to a discounter here as well, and it's really, it's like good. It's like a good alternative. But yeah, I do enjoy cooking. I just don't really have a lot of time at the moment to do so. I mean, probably it could take some time, but a lot of things were going on last week and also the weeks prior. And, I had COVID and stuff, and it just took a lot of time out of cooking. And then if I don't have time, I don't really enjoy it. So I'll just, eat a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Quick.
I also realized that even though I really enjoy it, sometimes I'm just not in the mood for, the effort, because, before university I had like nothing to do for a month. Before that I went to work, but it's not as much as now. And, with a full day of classes, I get home maybe around like 5 in the afternoon, and then basically I would have to like start cooking then for maybe 2 hours, and then I have to study and do the homework, and that's like my entire day. And so I really have to think if I want to spend that time cooking, or maybe just be lazy and like eat yogurt or something. I don't know, because I'm really not a breakfast person, so sometimes it happens that I just didn't eat until I get home from university, so like really late, and then I kind of have a lunch dinner in between meal, and like that's it for the day, and that's really not a good schedule to keep. So I really have
Yeah.
to figure out how to you know kind of you get that straight, because yeah, I just don't want to get up earlier than I have to just to have breakfast. It feels like such a waste of
I mean, you
sleep
should,
time.
because breakfast is important. And
Yeah, I
just
know.
cramping everything at like one point in the middle of the night or in the evening is not good for every person. But I don't think bringing like a huge meal together is like really good for you. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do what you want. Like,
No, I know it's not good. It's also like, if you only look at like what it does to my stomach, I have to just, I am really hungry, and eating when you're like really, really hungry, that makes everything so much worse. You feel so tired after eating then. And, apart from the fact that I am still recovering from like, bulimia, this is not a good, healthy schedule for me. It's kind of like paves the perfect way for just, starving for a longer period of time and then just binging so much. And I mean, since I'm alone, no one's even gonna notice. So I really have to be careful about this. Yeah. So I shall
but I
try
mean, I
to,
think I get the
prepare
impression
something.
that you are careful and you're not like losing complete control. So,
Yeah, it's fine. I'm actually like a lot better than when I come back home. I've noticed that when I had to go back, because I also got COVID, and so I had to go back to my parents' house to quarantine. They didn't want me to stay alone in my apartment, and so I went back, and it was kind of like a lot worse than what I would have imagined, because like adding to the fact that I was back in this environment where I was used to these, bad habits, also came like the fact that I was sick and I was like missing classes, like the beginning of classes. I was just not there for a week. And I also passed the virus to my family, which made everything a lot worse for me, like psychologically. I was just not in a good place. And that mostly like shows in my eating habits, definitely. And when I came back to my place, I'm at least like aware of what I do, and I can sort of, calculate what would be best. And it's not like I don't know what's healthy. So now what I started to do is just, prepare like overnight oats, for example. So I have something ready in the morning before I go, so that doesn't take up a lot of my time, because I'm just not a morning person. I hate getting up
yeah.
earlier than I have to just to get to class, because I can't sleep well. So I need to save like every minute in the morning. That's kind of my problem.
I mean, I totally agree. No, I don't really agree. I'm a morning person. But I hate it. I started to hate it because sometimes you know that you don't have anything to do in the morning and you just want to sleep in because you don't know what to do with yourself anyway. So why just not sleep in, you know? But then
Mm-hmm.
your biological clock just tells you, fuck you, and you're awake at like 7:30, as always.
Mm.
It's good because my clock is perfect for the work environment, but it's fucking bullshit for like a student.
Yeah, that's really a problem, I guess. There's like a difference between like being a morning person because you set your alarm every day and you can get up early, and like just not being able to sleep longer. And I think that's kind of your problem, because even if you go to sleep in the middle of the night, you're gonna wake up at 7 or 7:30 or what it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's also not a good thing. But yeah, I guess for me it's just more that I don't fall asleep before it's really late. So even if I didn't get any sleep last night, I'm not going to be able to go to bed before midnight at least, or even like, I don't know, 2 or 3 a.m. or something, and it takes at least an hour for me to fall asleep, and then I wake up in the night and stuff. I don't know. Sleeping disorder is not fun, but I guess I'm gonna have to get it under control if possible.
Yeah, it's all about life. Oh yeah, life. Uh, I got rejected from a guy I was having a crush on and starting to fall in love. Uh, how do you say that it crushed me? Like, my fear of abandonment just kicked in, and it was like telling me a lot of lies about myself, but also in general, it was just an awful experience I think everyone in their life has. And maybe I don't know how much I can, like say that my fear of abandonment got into effect, but what the hell? Why does it hurt so bad? Why does everything burn in your whole body? And why do you. I don't know, why did it. I mean, it fucking hurt. I can't really say how it was. Like, it just hurt, and it was
Yeah.
like bedridden for like a week, I guess, because I was feeling so bad. And I'm like, sure. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess, if you're like usually very careful not to get too attached to a person, and then you kind of open yourself up, and that's the moment where they're like, how about like, no? And that's like the worst timing. So I guess that's like really unlucky, and you can't really do anything about it afterwards because you just feel like shit, honestly. Being like,
Yeah.
I don't know, left, or, losing someone, or just losing like the trust into a relationship or a person.
Yeah.
It
I
really just
mean,
destroys you from the inside. It's a horrible experience.
yeah, it's just weird. On top of that, I mean, the guy ghosted me a bit for a while, which honestly I found more troublesome than actually the rejection, because, I'm not dumb. I know things could not work out. I know that this guy may have some issues with like attachment anyway. So I kind of made myself aware that it would not work out. But that he ghosted me as like a friend of like 7 months, which I agree is not that long, but I really got attached to him like as a friend, and I liked him as a friend, and I really trusted him, and we always had like very direct conversations. Um, and I just felt hurt by him ghosting me a bit, because I felt like that I didn't deserve that as a friend. Um, and yeah, and then I like, as I said, just I think it hurt more because we were like not on many dates, and it was not like I was so in love with him. It was just that basically him not answering, and just my fear of abandonment just kicked in, and told me that like now like everyone is going to leave you, and those things like that were just then there, and kind of like stayed there for a while until we talked it out as adults, or how adults would do that, and had like a conversation about how we felt. Yeah, it was good. It
Mm.
worked out in the end.
Yeah, I also think that like this moment of not knowing where you stand in a relationship is like the worst torture. Because if you just get the rejection, it's done. Okay, you can move on. But if you're like being ignored or not taken seriously, or it's just always like, I don't know, avoiding the topic, it's like the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
and it's like there, and you have to discuss what's going to
Yeah.
happen in the future, but the other person just doesn't engage in that conversation. That's the thing that makes you panic the most, I guess.
Yeah, and Well, I actually saw him today. So yesterday I was at uni. I wasn't at uni because I just wanted to have another day for myself. And I had therapy today, and I just wanted to go to therapy first because I don't know, if I had like any emotion, which had to come out, I wouldn't have wanted him like on him because he didn't also doesn't deserve to be hurt. And yeah, then I met him again, and we were like kind of talking because my friend has a crush on a boy who is in the friend group of this guy. So we had to interact, and I, kind of like made a play date for our group, like playing chess. And I think I felt like he was very careful and just a little bit. How do you explain it? It was very careful and like was surprised that I reacted like nothing happened. I mean, I don't react like nothing happened. I just react as like everything has worked out. And everything's
Sorry,
worked out, and
did he expect you to be more awkward about it?
I think so because he was a little awkward, and I was just like normal.
Okay.
And then the thing is, I wanted to to set a date for my friend and his guy and like me, just to play chess, and I would basically just go earlier so they could spend like time together. But like the
You're
guy,
adorable.
yeah, and the guy just overheard us making plans, and he said, "Oh, he come with us." I'm like, "You can, but didn't we just agree that?" Like to myself, didn't we just agree that we don't want to be alone for a month? So I mean, I don't actually know why he doesn't want to be alone, not alone for a month, because I don't want to try anything new. I'm okay with it not working out. But sometimes I think he just waits me to bite his mouth head off or something. And I certainly won't. It's fine.
I saw he said that he doesn't want to be alone with you for a while and rather be like in a group.
Yeah, basically just that we don't. He explained it like that you'll just, we'll just go back and forth in the same conversation. But I don't know what he's up to. For me, it's done. I don't want anything from him anymore. It's good about emotional attraction because if a person just really hurts you, even if it's not intentional, your attraction is just gone.
Well, it
So,
should be.
so
If it imagine it wouldn't go away even though you get hurt over and over. That's like really toxic then.
and as I said, I have very low physical attraction. So, I mean, this guy looks good, but like that's it basically. And so I'm not really, I don't know. I don't think it should be awkward. It should be okay. And I mean, honestly, I'm still mad at him for not answering and for just ghosting me because I think you shouldn't do that as a friend. It's just not what you do. And we've known each other for long and not just for 2 weeks. But other than that, I don't hold grudges because it's fine that it doesn't work out because then it shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think that's very mature. That's a good way to look at it. Because I think like you can be mad at a person for a specific thing that they did or didn't do, but you shouldn't like be mad at like the entire relationship or the entire like story, because like that doesn't work out anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just being bitter and childish, I guess. But
I mean, he broke
does
my
deserve,
trust in that, but yeah, I mean, he
he
broke
does
my trust,
deserve
but
a
I
little
think
bit
it's,
of, upsetness.
yeah, I mean, I mean, even my therapist told me that he thinks I was very mature, and he tried to run away from the conversation and from this like
he
discussion.
did. I mean, you
Yeah, he
tried so
did.
many times to like just tell him, that it's okay no matter what he has to say, just to please talk to you, and he was like, I'm really busy at the moment. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, just
Yeah.
send a fucking text message. Can't be so
Uh,
hard.
I mean, I know that he was relieved that I didn't bite his head off. But honestly, what did he
He
expect?
would have
I'm
deserved it,
not
though.
changing. Like, I was never someone who was mad at people. That's
Except
something I
yourself,
wish
though.
I were. Yeah, like sometimes I wish I were mad at people, and could be mad and just shout at people about it. But I'll take
Compensate
every
your
like aggression
emotions.
out of myself, which is terrible idea. But I mean, it doesn't hurt other people. It's not a good thing, but like he knows that. So I was like, what do you think I'll just change as like a complete person? I don't. Like it's not going to happen, and I think in that matter I'm like an adult. Like I don't fucking care. Just tell me what's going on. Like direct communication key. I don't need more.
Yeah.
Tell me you want something from me. Yes, screw, go for it. Tell me you don't want to have something with me. Fine, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
No, I get that. It's very important to me as well. Because, like, you know, if you're not told anything, you just start overthinking and brooding. And it's just terrible, you know. Whatever you have to say to me, just fucking say it. Like, it can't be worse than what I imagine in my head. So, you know, go for it. I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah,
a
but
good
let's see how
approach.
it's gonna. Yeah, let's see how it's gonna work out, and yeah, I think it's just about physical touch in general. I'm a very touchy person, but I have to refrain from touching him at all because I don't want to make any signals which aren't there just because I'm a touchy person.
Yeah.
But yeah, like refrain from that and just be a little bit more of distance when I'm like close to him, just because I don't want him to think that I want something if I actually don't. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, it's a good thing that it didn't really affect the friend group you were in. Because, like, usually
Yeah.
you would hang out with, like, other people as well. And if that still works out, then that's a good thing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like we're trying to be adults. We are not adults yet, I think, but we try to be.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is kind of trying to sort of act like one, even though I'm not sure if you're ever really, you know, that ideal adult grown-up person. You're always going to be a little childish on some parts, which is also
Yeah.
good. Like, you should cherish your inner child, you know. You should definitely not just let it go, throw it in the trash.
No, remember your inner child is, or a lot of our inner children, I'm just speaking for the general audience, is probably a little bit wounded. I think no child actually goes through life without being hurt. And there's no problem that this hurt and pain actually stays with you once you become an adult. It's absolutely fine because some things are just so deep, or some things just hurt us so much that even though we've grown, even though we have found ways to approach things differently, are still affecting us, because we at the end we are all children, and as like in our heart, and just imagine you've been like hurt when you were like 5 years old, and that pain is still with you. And yeah, what you need to do is reparent yourself, like let the child feel the pain, but like tell them that it's you're there for them, for your inner child, and then you can actually heal. I think that's like a good theory. I don't know.
And that's your psychology student speaking. Are you
Compared
going to
with
be a great psychologist, though?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, sometimes I think I'm too emotional or have too much problems myself. But I think you can only help, or you can help. I think you can only help people if you kind of like understand what's going through them, and if you never had any experience like that, it's just really difficult. I mean, you can, but I think it's really difficult to actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like with the many people I have encountered in my psychologist's journey, you know, I've been transferred from here to there. You really do notice if someone knows what they're talking about, not just on paper, but, you know, just emotionally. Because some people, they know how to say like the right thing, but you know that they just, you know, they learned it. They read a book about it, that sort of way. And that's not the emotional understanding that a person can give who has really been through what, you know, the people who seek help have been through.
Because sometimes it doesn't. Sorry. You can.
I'm just saying, like, it's never really the exact same thing, but you can kind of like understand each other better.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes all you need is someone who listens to you and not giving you weird advices. Advices are good, but it just doesn't, you know, what you learn in therapy to help yourself and to find your own advices, to find out what you need. And like, no therapist is actually gonna tell you that you exactly need to do that, or that you should do that with your like friend or whatever. Like, they'll try to help you find out ways to do it yourself, because they don't give you a solution, they help you find ones. I think that's a good
That's a great word for ending the podcast. I think this is some great experiences, some great advice. Don't go out in the world looking for a reason to live, you know, and to keep going. You kind of have to become your own reason, and you're gonna find things that make you want to as well. I'm pretty sure of that. So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and thanks to you, Vero, for recording it with me once again after such a long time. It's been a lot of fun, even though it's kind of an unusual experience at this point. But
it is.
Hopefully we're going to keep recording a little bit more in the future.
Yeah, or it's gonna just be an empty. No, we'll really try. Okay. Have a great day, guys.
Yes, have a good time. Go be nice to yourself. Treat yourself a little today. This is your special day. Every day is your special day, actually. And yeah, I hope you're doing okay. If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. And yeah, remember, spring will always come.